At first glance, the ability to duplicate a layer might seem like sort of an oh-hum sort of capability. Well, it turns out it certainly is more than oh-hum. One of the things that makes duplication more than an oh-hum is that it can be used across drawings, but we'll get to that. Make a new drawing named Duplicate 1. Add a layer in a small blue rectangle near the left side of the drawing. What we want is 4 blue rectangles spread out across the screen in a line. You can duplicate a layer by using the right mouse button on its entry in the Layers panel and choosing Duplicate Layer. You can also use the application menu, Layer Duplicate Layer. As of now, we have 3 layers and 3 co-located rectangles. A third way to duplicate a layer is with a mouse. With the Move tool selected, hold down the Alt key and drag the blue rectangle that's visible to the right. We want things to be in a straight line, so hold down the Shift key too. It turns out order is important here. Hold down the Alt key before you click on the rectangle. When you push down on the Alt key, you will see the cursor turns into a double-headed arrow, indicating it is going to duplicate what you move. Move the rectangle off to the right a little bit and then push down the Shift key, which limits the cursor movement to the horizontal, vertical, or diagonal direction. Later in this course, we will cover how to juggle 4 marbles using only the fingers of your left hand. That's a joke, by the way. To spread out the 4 rectangles, select the 4 layers and use the Distribute Horizontal Centers icon on the Move toolbar. This and similar icons appear on the Move toolbar when multiple layers are selected. What we've seen here is a classic use of duplication that you will find in many drawing programs, not just Photoshop. No surprise, but duplication works on groups too. Group together the 4 rectangles and then use the Alt-Mouse Move technique to duplicate the group. Make sure Auto Select is checked and the group is enabled. Of course, you can also duplicate a group by right-clicking on it in the Layers panel too. Of course, a duplication like this is useful when you want to add more of the same thing to a drawing, and when you want to add more of the same thing but modify it a bit, for example, change some of its colors. Sometimes it is useful to make a new drawing based on parts, that is, layers of an existing one. In a lot of drawing programs, you would use copy-paste to move the existing parts into the new drawing. That doesn't work for shape layers, though you can sort of do it with bitmap layers. In any case, duplicating layers into another drawing is much easier and really gives you more control than copy-paste. So let's look at a couple of ways to use duplication in a way that is similar to copy-paste. Select the background layer and one of the groups of rectangles, then do a right mouse button on one of them and select Duplicate Layers. When the Duplicate Layers dialog comes up, pull down the Document drop-down and select New. Name the new document Duplicate Clone and click OK. After you click OK, a new drawing comes up with just those 2 layers in it. Now you can proceed to add and edit it as you wish. Duplicating in a new drawing can be useful. For example, you might want to make a series of drawings that illustrate variations or a progression of some fundamental concept. But keep in mind that these PSD files, that is Adobe Drawing files, are completely separate from one another, and anything you want to keep in sync between them, you will have to do by hand. Shortly, we will see an alternate way to build a set of drawings, called layer compositions, on a common base, which you will probably find easier to maintain than a set of individual PSD files. One of the key use cases for duplication is duplicating into an existing drawing instead of a new one. This is very useful for adding clip art to a drawing. As an example, here's a piece of clip art I would like to add to the Duplicate Clone drawing. Notice that it has already been masked. Select just the masked layer, use the right mouse button to select Duplicate Layers. Pull down the Document drop-down and you will see a list of all the drawings currently opened in Photoshop. Select the Duplicate Clone drawing and click OK. Now click on the tab for the Duplicate Clone drawing and you will see it has an additional layer. Position the clip art on the drawing where you would like it. So here's where we are with duplication. Layers and groups can be duplicated. The most simple way of using duplication is to duplicate a layer or layers into the drawing you are working on. Layers can also be duplicated into a brand new drawing, which can be useful when you need to create a new drawing based on another. And layers can be duplicated into another drawing, which is very useful for adding clip art to a drawing.